Hey everybody, this is Jonah Lupton back again with another episode of the Startup Sense podcast. Thanks for listening. Got a great show for you today, so hang in there with us till the end. We are speaking with James Orfanos. He is the co-founder of a company called Top Notch Cinema out of New York City, and they do kind of high-end corporate videos for some pretty notable clients, including Four Seasons, Dollar Shave Club, Bonobos, Venmo, and a bunch of others. So let me introduce James. James, how are you?
I'm doing very well today. How you doing, Jonah?
I am doing well. So how is it in New York City? Running a business out in New York, expensive place to be, right?
Yeah, New York's definitely got some super expensive real estate, but I'm a New Yorker born and raised. I love it here, man.
Cool. So before we talk about the company, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm a lifelong martial artist. My family business is actually a chain of martial arts schools called New York Martial Arts Academy. I have my master's in finance out of Fordham, and I decided to go the entrepreneur route, man. I mean, I had the nice little beefy job lined up at a bank, and I said, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to do this. I want to make my own businesses, and I want to build.
Family business, martial arts studios. Why not go into that business?
I actually am in that business simultaneously as I with the company Top Notch Cinema. So I'm running both at the same time, which is really awesome.
Sweet. So talk to us about your main business, I guess, which is the company we're talking about today, which is Top Notch Cinema. What do you guys do?
So my partner Greg Parker and I started Top Notch Cinema about 2 years ago. We are a full-service video production company for businesses, and that's really the thing that separates us. There's a lot of video production companies in New York. They'll take any job that they can get. We're more or less exclusively B2B, and as you mentioned, that's one of the reasons why some of the bigger companies really like dealing with us, because it's our specialty. So we basically attack two markets: the corporate side, where you got T-Mobile, Dollar Shave Club, Daily Mail, some of those bigger kind of clients, and small and medium-sized business owners. We deal with a lot of successful business owners that are looking to grow their marketing campaigns, and they look at us as an investment, because if you hire me, it's a lot cheaper than hiring a team of W-2 employees on the marketing side. And even the big companies that have 20, 30 W-2 employees on the marketing side, they still come to us because we're a specialty within our field. Another thing that separates us is we have an online marketing division. So we basically are able to create the video content, distribute it, make websites, apps, do SEO, AdWords campaigns, social media. So we're slowly but surely becoming like a full service digital marketing agency.
Gotcha. So what types of marketing are you? So say you do a video for, any of the companies I rattled off, and how many companies have you done business with already?
I don't have the exact number, but it's in the hundreds. I don't want to misquote you a number.
Okay. And are they typically using these videos like on their corporate homepage? Are they posting them online to try to get them to go viral, to promote a new service or a product? Are they for commercials on TV?
That's a great question. It's basically all of the above. One of the most profitable, quote-unquote, formulas is to put a video on the homepage and the different pages within a website, drive traffic to that site through something like, an AdWords campaign, like a search campaign, or a Facebook campaign, depending on the demographic that they're attacking. And then really important is remarketing behind that. And, for some of the audience that knows what that is, or some of the audience rather that doesn't know what that is, all that means is you see banner ads sometimes pop up, on your computer. Like you just happen to type in basketball and then a bunch of basketball ads come after you. We set up all those kinds of campaigns for clients. So it's the most profitable way to deal with a video campaign. You make the video, put it on the company's website, drive traffic to that site, and if the person doesn't convert into a sale, you're remarketing and selling to them behind it. Another good place that's underutilized in the space is two places, actually. Follow-up campaigns where, we'd come in on a couple of days shoot and make 15, 20 videos, and you would use it on like an email, a follow-up campaign, or like a text message follow-up campaign. Number two, and this is starting to pick up steam, is staff training videos. So let's say, you get a successful business owner that has 10, 15 restaurants. We'd come in and go through the nitty-gritty of the way a waiter or waitress should greet a guest, or the way the seating hostess, rather, should greet a guest, how the waiter or waitress should put the water down, how the kitchen should operate, with the food. And what that does is it creates more efficiencies within the business. The bulk of our work is marketing work. Like you were alluding to, is basically all the above, promo videos on a website, for social media, on TV, and that's what it is.
on average, how much are these companies spending on video production?
It really depends. Every quote that we have is custom. We went a different route. Like, if you go online, some of these companies, they go, oh, well, a minute of video costs this. A minute of it. Anybody that does that is making a cookie cutter approach and probably outsourcing it to India or something like that. We do everything custom. All of our employees are in-house and stuff like that. So it depends. On a typical job, like let's say a one-day shoot, you come in, take an interview style, shoot B-roll, for a client, it would range anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000. Now,
And are you typically going to their offices, or do they come to your studios, or is it some third party site?
Yeah, we have two locations that we use as studios. One's in Astoria, one's in North Williamsburg. But a lot of times, it's actually better to go to the client because let's say they're in a nice office. We can interview, the chief marketing officer, let's say, and he's talking about, some product that he's promoting. And then we take B-roll of the actual, office people working, and it's real. I mean, they're actually sitting there working. We're taking the B-roll over it, and then we cut the video for a promo piece.
Now, have you guys done any of these videos that have gone kind of mega viral on Facebook or YouTube?
Actually, one of our own videos that we shot, that we used it for two places. One was for TV. We were on Bloomberg and Fox Business. It got like 200,000-300,000 views, pretty much all organic. It was kind of cool because, and what's really cool about videos like that is they're a little bit more glitzy. There was some special effects and effect shots on there, and people are like, wow, I really love that. And, we drink our own Kool-Aid in the sense that we're a video production company that uses video to promote ourselves. And I think that's a really important point and a distinguishing factor that separates us from everyone else. One of the videos we did for T-Mobile as well, I just opened up my browser. It got 4 million views. It was about daughters sharing their text messages with their boyfriends. So you could imagine, or with their fathers. So like, their boyfriends were talking about some kind of raunchy things, but not explicitly. It was more implied. And it got 4 million views. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, so that's kind of in that gray area where a company needs to, so they want to create a video, they want to try to get as many views as possible. Sometimes humor works the best for that, right? People like to share funny stuff. So how do you guys skate that line between professional and humor? And who's usually pushing the envelope more? Is it you guys or the company?
Well, you know what? I come from the very soft sell, reference of, I listen to the client. If the client wants to do a straight up promo piece that explains the benefits of their company and, why people should choose them versus everyone else, that's what I'll come in and shoot. If they mention that they want to do something edgier, I'll, make a proposal and, get the script writers to basically shoot out a couple ideas. If they don't like them and then they want to switch over to a straight up promo piece, I give them flexibility. Most of the time, at least right now, people are doing straight up promo pieces with a little bit of edge in there. To go totally, in the other direction of super edgy, less and less people are taking that risk. T-Mobile, actually did. I mean, this was a very, kind of edgier piece because some of the content that was in there. But long story short, the client rules.
Yeah, I mean, T-Mobile, I think, is kind of an edgier company. The CEO at least, kind of brings that image to the brand. I mean, two videos that come to mind when I think of kind of virality. Dollar Shave Club had one that got 20, 30, 40 million views. And Squatty Potty had one with like the pooping unicorn. That
was an awesome video.
Yeah, I'm having them on they'll be on the podcast in a couple weeks, so I'll be talking to them. But I mean, I just pulled up YouTube, and that video has at least 28 million views for the one that they uploaded. And then, of course, I'm sure it got copied and posted everywhere else, and probably got another 15, 20, 30 million views. So, you're talking probably 50 million views from that video total. I don't know how much it cost. Any idea how much it might have cost them to make?
Yeah, I mean, it's got stop motion. I'm looking at it now. Probably talking 25, 30 grand.
Wow. Okay, so videos can get pretty expensive, but when you get that much visibility, obviously it pays for itself. So, I mean, what are some of the most expensive videos that you guys have done for clients?
I mean, we've had videos, 70, 80 grand, packaged where like you get like a little bundle basically. Let's say they'll do 3-4 videos that'll hit that $75,000, $80,000 mark. And the reason why, the things where things get really expensive with any video production company is special effects shots.
Okay.
Because that's like, that's a super time intensive, really expensive way to do things. There's ways to make it inexpensive where on a per video basis, you're not paying more than a couple $1,000. Like let's say we came in and did a promo piece, or let's say $7,500. I'll cut 3-4 different versions of that. So on a per video basis, it's very cost effective. Now, you basically have two different ways to do video. The one you alluded to is like very viral, probably has special effects shots, has a trained actor in there. The script writing takes a ton of time, super well done. And, that works really well for broad market appeal. Like Dollar Shave Club, everybody uses a razor, or virtually everybody uses a razor. So it was great because they got a bunch of eyeballs on it. It converted into sales. The other, kind of formula is like, let's say, you're dealing with like a high-end consultant or an attorney where, he's like a personal injury attorney, let's say. Every client that he gets is $80,000, $60,000 in his pocket. He's not in a volume business. That going viral won't do him much good. The formula for that would be, well, we shoot a video that's probably a little bit more serious. We put some advertising behind it to target the people that he's looking to get to. It converts to sales. He makes a huge return on investment. He loves top-notch cinema. We love working with them, and we have a nice business relationship. So those are the two different ways that it'll work out.
This is Jonah Lupton, founder of the Lupton Group and host of the Startup Sense podcast. Are you struggling to find the right tech team to build your company's website or mobile app? Maybe you've developed a product but need help with your go-to-market strategy, including branding and marketing. Well, stop worrying, because my team at the Lupton Group can assist you with all of those needs. We specialize in helping entrepreneurs and startups of all sizes launch and grow their businesses. For a free consultation, you can email me at jonahlupton@gmail.com or visit our website at luptongroup.co. So what are the marketing strategies in those two different scenarios? Say I create a funny video for my business that I want to go viral. Let's say it costs $25,000 to create the video. How much should I plan on spending to market that video?
Well, what I would say is, you'd scale it. Like you'd probably spend, let's say, a total of $12,000 to $15,000 in $4,000 to $5,000 blocks. You spend $5,000 on, let's say, YouTube ads, and from there you count the number of paid versus organic. And if it starts spider webbing into organic, then you would lay out more and more money. I mean, it would be kind of foolish, and you could do it. I mean, you could spend $20,000 in one day on YouTube if you really wanted to, but we strategically buy the time, and we strategically try to target the audience and different parts of the country, different demographics. YouTube allows you to do that, and then as it starts picking up steam, then you put more oil on the fire, and that's one of the reasons that, and that's one way. Let's say you could do the same thing on Facebook. It would be almost identical. And then is there any value to doing PR behind a video, or setting a video off to, writers like TechCrunch writers, Mashable writers, any of these other, blogs, say I created, like it's a tech gadget that I created. There's obviously a lot of blogs out there that are really focused on tech gadgets and innovation. You send the video to them and see what they can do with it. Yeah, I mean, one of the guys on our team, Mr. Miller, comes from a PR background. That's something that's definitely, has value. The thing is, it's very time intensive, and it can get even more expensive than buying the advertising time, because to get in front of one of these guys, I mean, the way PR firms really work is, you're paying for their connection. And, if this person or this firm doesn't have a personal connection with the people that you're trying to get to, you're not going to get anywhere big or huge. Let's say it's like a tech blog, that's much easier to do. But let's say you wanted to get on Forbes or something like that, obviously it'd be much harder. Gotcha. And so, where I think of videos the most right now is probably behind some of the biggest crowdfunding campaigns. I think most of them, or at least Kickstarter, I think they require a video now. And I think the ones that have done the best, like I was just looking at one yesterday on Indiegogo, that's raised $400,000 for like these RFID tags that you can put on your equipment. So if you leave the studio, leave something behind, you'll actually get an alert on your phone because all the RFID tags are not in the same suitcase. Really, really cool. They raised $450,000 as of yesterday. So do you guys do a lot of those crowdfunding videos as well? Yeah, we've done a few Kickstarter videos. It's definitely picking up steam. And as you alluded to earlier, the way that is actually successful is, you make a good video. There's obviously good copy underneath it. And then you have to put money behind it. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs kind of, there's a disconnect, because they go, oh, well, I'll just put it on Kickstarter and I'll go raise a couple $100,000. Well, if it was that easy, everybody would do it, right? You're going to probably need anywhere from 15 to 25,000 to strategically buy some advertising, and Facebook works really well for, promoting Kickstarter campaigns, by the way, to get the right eyeballs on that page and then, convert that into sales. There's a lot of these, like Kickstarter and crowdfunding, almost like consultant firms that, they help you with stuff like that. And some of them are good and some of them aren't. A lot of them have a list of people that already have donated to, so they're remarketing to that list because those people are apt to donate to new stuff. And really the quality of the company will depend on the quality of the list. That's not a service that we directly provide, but, we're in contact with a couple of vendors like that, either outsource to us or, we've sent clients to them, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I've talked to a few in the last couple of months for one of my companies that I'm thinking about doing a crowdfunding campaign. I just don't know if I'm going to do kind of the equity crowdfunding or the more like reward or kind of pre-order like Kickstarter, right? And yeah, they told me if I want to raise $100,000, I should be prepared to spend at least $20,000 to $25,000 between video and marketing.
Yeah, and you know what? That brings up an interesting point. I mean, there's two types of business owners or corporate executives. One guy goes, see, if someone told me I have to spend $20,000 to make 100, I would do it with my eyes closed. I'd write the check and not think about it. Obviously, it's not riskless, right? But if I was confident in it, I would just do it. There's other business owners that, they hold on to their chips so tight and they don't want to spend any money on marketing. And then they go, well, why is my company not growing? Well,
right.
You got to spend to make. And, it's a crowded space. There's, no matter what business you're in, they're all pretty much crowded spaces. It's who's differentiating themselves and who's actually providing something different. That's one thing. But then who's willing to, spend the time, effort, energy, money to actually do proper marketing campaign. And it's something that we deal with because we're B2B. We deal with a lot of successful business owners, and we get in contact with some business owners that are struggling, and it's really mental. The guys that are making money are the ones that are strategically spending money. The guys that aren't making money, they go, well, I have no money to spend. Well, the reason you have no money to spend is because you're not putting enough money behind your marketing campaigns, be it video, AdWords, SEO. It all works in unison and together. And it's not, unfortunately, they're probably never going to get out of that hole unless they decide to invest in their own business.
Right. I mean, I tell people I don't look at marketing as an expense. I look at it as an investment.
Absolutely. No, we're in 100% agreement on that, Jonathan.
So talk to us about when you first started the company. It's about 2 years ago, right? Late 2014.
Yeah, November 2016. Yeah, exactly. It's 2 years and change.
So what did it look like in the beginning? I mean, was it you and your buddy knocking on doors with a video camera, asking to make videos? I'm sure it wasn't quite that, but take us back to the beginning.
No, you're not that far off.
Really?
You're not that far off. I mean, Greg and I were friends, had done some business together before the company started. We did the deal on a handshake. Our operating agreement didn't come till like 2 months later, where we had closed, I don't know, 30, 40 grand worth of business. And Greg and I have total trust in one another. He is an Emmy award-winning director and producer. He's literally the best videographer I know. And what really separates Greg from any other video guy that I've ever met is not only his skill, but his ability to recruit the best talent and deal with clients in a way where someone has a vision in their head and he's able to get that onto the video. So that's definitely awesome. And that's my plug for Greg. I love him. Two, from what you said, we were banging on doors, man. I mean, I was reaching out to my contacts, talking to everybody that would listen to me. Greg was doing the same thing. Our first couple of jobs were just through personal contacts. We self-funded the business.
What were your first couple jobs? Just out of curiosity. What were the first couple?
The first couple, we took a job for almost like a board game type company. That was an interesting one. The second one, we hit off big with an entrepreneur that had a string of different businesses. It was a family contact of mine, and he gave us like 3-4 jobs that were like $4 or $5 grand a piece, and it gave us a little bit of money to go do some marketing. And we practiced what we preached. The second we had money in the account, we didn't pay ourselves. We dipped money back into the business, and then we put money back into the business, and we were profitable in year one. And this year we're profitable again, and next year we're going to be profitable, and the year after that we're going to be profitable. Again, if God grants us the right to do so. So
and you guys you'll do about 7 figures this year, right?
Get close to it.
Nice. Awesome. I mean, that's pretty impressive for a second year. I mean, what does the growth look like since the beginning? I mean, and I don't know how your business really works. I mean, is it consistent month over month growth, or is it like peaks and valleys?
It is over a quarter by quarter. It's been consistent on a month by month peaks and valleys. So like quarter by quarter, we've been growing, but some months, I mean, we'll pull in a lot of money. Some months we won't pull in as much. And it's not only how we're closing, it's how the billing process works. So like, let's say you're dealing with a big client, like Four Seasons, your money comes in 60 days after the product is, delivered, the service is delivered. A small business owner, they may pay you in chunks, so on and so forth. So, you would look at our bank statement and some months you say, wow, look, they're doing so great. Some months, you're doing okay, whatever the case may be, but it's not just the closing process, it's the billing process in this business that's different than most other businesses.
So you guys don't require like 50% up front?
We do a third, typically. So it's
Okay.
a third to pre-production, a third on your first day of shooting, a third when all services are rendered. But when you're dealing with big corporate clients, you can't tell them how you're going to get paid. Like Four Seasons says, you're going to get paid 60 days from now, your check's on the way. They're not going to not pay you. You just say, okay.
Right. Yeah, I've dealt with them, and it's not fun. I mean, that's another reason I'd be, one of my products, I'm afraid to go into retail because it's kind of the same way with retail. You ship them product, they pay you, 60 to 90 days later. So you need the capital to kind of, carry things until you get those checks in the mail.
Absolutely.
How are you guys investing in the business that first year? You said that after you guys had some money in the bank, you didn't pay yourselves, you reinvested it. Was that in marketing? Was that in equipment? Was it hiring people?
Yeah. Okay. Online, offline marketing. I mean, you name it, we were doing it. Trade shows. We were all over the place in terms of marketing. I mean, we were doing stuff that we probably couldn't even afford, but I believed in the business so much, I put my chips on the table. Again, it's not that I don't have a respect for business owners that hold their money a little tight, because I understand everybody's situation is different. Sometimes, they need the money for living expenses, and I totally get that. But I'm kind of the belief that if you believe in something, you put your money where your mouth is and you reinvest. So that was our philosophy from the beginning. That's going to continue to be our philosophy. And, our long-term goal is to be the video production company for businesses across the nation. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. That's our vision statement. That's what I want. And, the online marketing division will help supplement that and create return for the clients if they don't have an in-house marketing department that's buying time. But we will be the video production company for business.
Cool. No, I mean, it's good to have a vision. How do you find the right people to hire? I mean, you told me that you're 15 or 20 people right now?
Yeah, we're just over 20. Production side, we're at about 22, and we have about 4 or 5 people on the administrative side. So we're like 26 people total.
Are they all in New York?
Yes. Yeah, we're all New York based.
Yeah, I mean, New York's obviously a pretty expensive place to live, to work. You got to pay salaries that are, relative. So why keep the company in New York? I mean, obviously, there's a family business there. It's kind of keeping you there as well. But if the family business wasn't there, would you still stay in New York?
I would honestly say New York because there's so much work here. I think a lot of people do get intimidated of New York because of the cost of living and stuff like that. But the cost of living is also adjusted to, there's more billionaires in New York than pretty much anywhere. There's so many billionaires. I mean, I did a mail campaign where I ran everyone in New York making income of over $2 million. And it was like 2,500 people. Then people making between $1 and $2 million, it was like 20,000 people. People making $850 to $1 million was like 40,000 people. I mean, there's so much money here to go, well, you know what, my condo might cost, $800,000 versus $400 and somewhere else in the country. That's one thing, but I can make more money in New York. So it's all adjusted to, the income and the density here. That being said, we're also able to do jobs all across the nation, whether, we send our guys out, that's one way, but we also have contacts in different states where we vet out the shooters and then editing will get done in-house. And, so far that process has worked really well. Like we've done a couple of shots in Texas and Florida that really worked. We did a job in California way back when, but most of our jobs are in the tri-state.
Cool. What's been kind of the biggest challenge for you and your business partner since you started up 2 years ago?
Recently, right now, the last quarter, just handling the influx of work. And that sounds like a good problem, but, it is a good problem. But recently, handling the influx of work. More long-term, from like a growth trajectory, I just want to keep hiring the best guys we can get our hands on because I want the product and the service to really, really be top notch. So the guys that we have now are great. I wouldn't trade them for the world. But when I hire my next 20, 30 guys, I want to make sure they're just as good as or better than the guys that we have.
Yeah, I mean, how do you deal with that balance between you need to have the right people, but you also need the work? And if you hire too many people and the work's not coming in, you kind of bury the company versus not
Yeah,
having enough people and then the work comes in and you have no way to execute.
yeah. I mean, I think I'm pretty good with numbers. I have my master's in finance, and by no means does education make you qualified to run a business. But Greg and I literally every night, doesn't matter how long the day was, doesn't matter what's what, we talk about things like that. We talk about business-oriented things. We're like, well, if we take on, this extra expense, what's it going to mean? When will we receive return on that investment, whether it's a sales rep or a marketing activity or what's what? And we're always keeping an eye on our cash flow because that's a problem with a lot of startups is they raise a bunch of money, investor money, they burn through cash, their investors get upset at them, and they really see no profitable growth. They may see a growth on their top line, but they don't see growth on the bottom line. We weren't interested in seeing just top line growth. We wanted profitability right from the beginning, so we set up the business to be built to do so. And as we grow, we're obviously going to be profit centered because look, I love what I do. I love this business. I love the other business that I'm involved in as well. But it's still a business. I mean, obviously, you need to be cash flow positive to continue growth. And I look at every expense as an investment. I mean, obviously, you have hard costs that you can't avoid. I mean, you have legal fees, accountants, need to get paid, so on and so forth. That doesn't bring you a direct return. But almost every dollar that we spend, we're looking for when it's going to come back and in what kind of multiple.
Cool. How do you guys find your clients, or do they come to you?
Both. It's both. I mean, like I said, we do a lot of online advertising. We do a lot of offline advertising. We're at trade shows. Greg and I have a decent Rolodex of clients. We do have sales reps. I mentioned administrative staff. A couple of them are, full-time sales reps that we use. We believe in the Parthenon approach. We do a lot of different kinds of marketing activities because you don't know month over month, quarter over quarter what's going to pull. So, my brain always goes to a diversification approach where, if one thing stops working, another thing will pick up. And in the long term, basically, in the grand scheme of things, if you're doing a lot of different things and they're all well done, you make money. Like we've done TV ads. I mean, seasonally we'll run TV ads depending on what's going on. And, we went on Fox and Bloomberg because that's where all the business owners are watching, things for the market because we deal with a wealthier clientele. I mean, we deal with successful business owners and corporate executives that are serious about growing, their business. So, we try to be where those people are and speak their language and grow their business. And you know what? When you make somebody more money, they love you forever. And that's the type of thing. We've also done a lot of referrals. Any small business that isn't getting referrals probably isn't doing the right thing or isn't, communicating the right way with their clients.
Right. Totally agree. Have you ever gotten into any kind of creative payment terms with, maybe a small business that just didn't have $15,000 to $20,000 to spend on a video, or maybe a startup? And is there any way that you're able to help them in exchange for equity or revenue share? I don't know. What do you?
Yeah.
What
I mean, we actually are in the midst of creating some marketing material for just that. We took a meeting about 2 weeks ago with a furniture maker in Connecticut. And, he didn't really have the money to do the marketing that he was looking to do. He wanted to rebrand his website, do a series of videos, spend real money on AdWords, so on and so forth. So, we structured the deal pretty simple. It was like, listen, you're going to pay for the advertising time, and we get a discount, by the way, for TV time specifically. He wanted to do TV time and AdWords. So we get a discount through Time Warner because we're an agency with them. So I said, listen, I'll give you the time at my cost. We'll come in, we'll shoot the videos, you'll pay us, cents on the dollar for it, and we'll get a piece of the business. And the reason why we did it is because we believe, in this guy's process and what's going on with him. So I only want to deal with successful business owners. I don't want to deal with people that are disorganized because my time is very limited. And as is Greg's, even though we have a big production staff, that doesn't mean that, Greg and I are not in the nitty gritty, in the trenches, on the production side, the marketing, sales, and business side. So my time gets squeezed as a business owner, just like many business owners does. So when things like that arise, it's exciting because, you get to be part of a new business, but you have to be very careful that it doesn't take too much time away from, what's putting bread on the table.
Right. Absolutely. You still got to pay your bills. Have you guys done anything in the infomercial space?
You know what? Not yet. That's a really, and it's something that I would like to do. I haven't had a client come in for like a long form infomercial. I would love to do one, but it's slowly but surely not dying. But everybody's asking for promo pieces. I'll tell you what more people should do, and some of the really savvy business owners that we've dealt with done was the staff training thing, where you come in, you shoot a series of staff training videos that explain the processes in the business and make things more efficient. Because no matter what, I can tell you everywhere from franchises to small business owners, there's always breaks in the staff training process. And video is one of many tools that should be used, in the next decade to make that process more efficient.
You said staff training?
Yeah, staff training videos. Like think about let's say you owned a chain of 10 restaurants, for instance. How does the seating hostess greet you? How does the water get put on the table? How do you greet a client? How do you deal with a complaint? How does the kitchen actually make sure that steak is the same every time? And video is literally the best tool to do that, because you can zoom in, you have a competent manager doing what he would do in person anyway. But now you can hold the staff responsible going, well, you got to watch this series of videos, and I'm going to quiz you on these videos. Okay, well, in video 2, answer these 3 questions. And what it does is it's the perfect presentation. That's the cool thing about video, whether it's from a sales or staff training perspective. It's the perfect presentation. The ums and ahs are out of there. It's cut over B-roll. It's persuasive, and it sells. When you're doing staff training, it's the same thing. It's like if I'm training my staff, I'm persuading them on how to do one thing versus another, and this is the right way to do it. In person, one day versus another, that obviously that presentation can change. I could have a bad day. I could be off. I could stutter, whatever the case may be. Video doesn't allow for those types of mistakes.
Right. You start a new job the first day, they give you a training guide and you read it and everything's in text, and there's different ways to interpret it probably versus the video where you can see exactly how they want you to do something.
Yeah, and then you get, the one employee that says, well, no, nobody told me that. I didn't hear that. They showed me this versus that. And even as the boss, you kind of know it's nonsense, but you just don't want to get into an argument. See, with the video, there's no argument. It's like, this is what's said. I'll pull it up. Here it is. You have to do it this way. This is the process. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it.
Right. So I can see a company like T-Mobile that has thousands of locations, tens of thousands of employees. That's an important part of the training process for sure.
Yeah, and they have like a franchisor model with their stores. So, one T-Mobile store might have a great owner there working, and he's got his staff trained great. Another location might be lagging, and that's when, they send corporate down and make sure that location is, changes what they're doing. And staff training would be a great addition to that process.
Cool. Anything we missed? Anything that you want to share that we didn't get a chance to cover?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm having a great time, growing this business with my partner, Greg. I can't wait to take on more jobs and help more companies, grow their business. What's
the best way for someone to find you online?
You can visit topnotchcinema.com. That's our website. That's our URL. It's our company name. Our phone number, our direct line is 855-862-3456. That's 855-862-3456.
Okay, cool. A couple of last questions I typically ask people. If you could be mentored by anyone, who would it be?
Well, my father was a huge mentor to me because, he was a lifelong entrepreneur and got me into entrepreneurship. If I could speak to anybody from a management perspective, it would be Jack Welch from General Electric. I would have liked to have, met Steve Jobs. I've heard mixed stories about him and stuff like that. That's a really tough one. And there's so many great business leaders out there. But I would say from a management perspective, Jack Welch.
Cool. Yeah, he's one guy that most of us don't really think of anymore because he's not actively, running GE, or we don't see him on CNBC that much anymore. But he's a legend for sure.
Oh yeah.
And he's from kind of your neck of the woods, right? Connecticut. Where do you? You said you live in New York, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Little Neck, Queens, and now I live in Great Neck, which is the first neighborhood in Long Island.
Is GE still based in Connecticut? Is that still their headquarters?
That's a great question. I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't lie to you.
Yeah, I think it might be, but I'm not 100% sure. And then kind of last question here, if you could recommend, or do you have a favorite book, blog, or movie, or TV show?
That's a really interesting. I mean, again, Jack Welch, his book on management was great. I mean, you know what? I'm like a big Napoleon Hill guy. I mean, he's one of the originals. There's so many good movies to choose from. And I think everybody that's going to come into business should have some form of formal sales and marketing training, because most businesses have, a really good grip on the product or service that they're providing. They just don't have a good way to communicate what they're doing, and whether they do that in-house, outsource to a company, there has to be a strategy to do so. And there's so many great marketing books. I mean, even Tony Robbins, everybody thinks of Tony Robbins as a motivational speaker. He's a marketing and sales whiz. If you listen to some of his stuff, it's awesome. There's so many good sales and marketing tapes, but yeah, I mean, it's such a tough question. I could give you 10 books, Do
you have a favorite blog that you'd like to read?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't read too many blogs. Just like everybody else, I watch CNBC in the morning and stuff like that, but I try to not pay too much attention to that stuff. But yeah, I don't really read too much blogs. I'm more of a hardcover book guy. My partner always jokes with me that we're in a digital technology business and I'm a caveman when it comes to my own technology. So I read like hardcover books still.
Okay. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. Thanks for sharing so much valuable information. Certainly I hope some of the listeners are able to, do some business with you in the near future. I'll be doing a couple corporate videos in 2017, so maybe we'll get a chance to work together.
Yeah, man.
So definitely what's your revenue goal for 2017 for the company?
2017, I want to hit 2.5.
2.5?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. How are you guys going to get there? Any new strategies you're going to implement, or just
no, a lot of more of the same. The trade show, online, offline, postcards, all that stuff. I'm going to hire more sales reps to start going door to door and banging out calls and stuff like that. The trade show scene is a great scene. That's why some of the biggest companies, we just picked up Amtrust as an account, and the way we did it, we were at a trade show, they were at a trade show. They said, "Oh, we've been looking to do video. Do you guys do that?" I said, "Yeah." Boom. Did our first video with them a couple of weeks ago. I'm always looking for more creative marketing campaigns. We're going to make more videos internally to promote and explain why we're different and better than everybody else. We're going to spend more online and more offline. We're just going to keep reinvesting, doing what we're doing. And it's really funny that you asked, because Greg and I are going to meet in about 15 minutes to actually discuss, our marketing, or ironing out the last bit of our marketing plan for 2017. So, hopefully, we could do this again in a year's time, and, I exceed that goal.
Awesome. Definitely. Welcome back anytime. Yeah, this is definitely the time of year where CEOs and entrepreneurs like to sit down and review the existing year, or the year that's about to pass, and then, what can they do differently and better for the upcoming year. So we'll have fun with that meeting. And feel free to come back anytime and give us some updates, and, continued success with the company.
Thanks a million, Jonah. Have a great one.
You got it, man. Take care, James. Bye.